live from Redding, California. It's the IT all-staff meeting. Now put your hands together for the man who put information in Chief Information Officer, George Akiyama.
Wow, what a great opening. I really appreciate that and the warm welcoming. I got to tell you, love to be here in District 2 in the city of Redding. As my son would say, I want to give you a couple of fun facts to get everything started. So fun fact number one, in the city of Redding was voted one of the top 10 fishing towns in all of North America. And to get even bigger than that, the Fly Shop is the largest commercial fly distribution center in the world. So obviously a lot of fishing going on here in Redding. It's the unofficial capital for kayaking. It's also a trail capital for California. And last but not least, although we didn't experience this, it's also the second sunniest city in all of California, I think, in fact, of all of the U.S. So who would have thought Redding would be second sunniest? Now, on the way up, we didn't have that experience. We all got in the van last night, and we hit actually a bunch of rain, and Carl did a great job driving us. I appreciate that, Carl. And at the start, though, I'll tell you, it was a little bumpy, and Carl actually walks to work. So of all the folks we picked, the guy who walks to work is going to drive us 2.5 hours to Redding, and Carl gets started, slowly, and he says stuff like, wow, every time I get on the freeway, I get nervous. And I'm thinking, we picked the security guy, we got 2.5 hours to go, and Carl's driving. But Carl got into the groove, right? It was a bit of change for Carl, and got through the traffic and in Sacramento, started coming up north and started, picking up speed, asking us a bunch of questions around, are the trees moving? Do you see that? But like any change, Carl actually did very well conforming to it, got the data that he needed around the wind speed and around the traffic. And here he was, settled in, got into the groove, and had a very nice dinner. So thank you, Carl, for driving us. And thanks for not being the slowest driver. That still might win. Anyway, to get us started, I'd like to invite Dave Moore up. Hi, Dave.
Hey, George.
Welcome, or actually, thank you for allowing us to come to your beautiful district. I gotta tell you, it's a fantastic area.
Hey, I'm glad you guys could be here. We think this is a very beautiful part of the state, and we really appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to come up here and check it out.
Yeah, I think we came up on the right time, but maybe a little too early, because you guys are going to have a lot of snow activity this weekend.
Yeah, we potentially could have some snow. They're predicting possibly snow here in Redding tomorrow morning or Saturday night. I think they're predicting snow here in Redding. We don't get it very much, but I can tell you, you came from the right direction, because if you came to Redding from any other direction except the south, you would have hit snow. So we got chain control out there right now. We got all our snowplow operators out there working around the clock to help keep the roads clear.
Very good. And how's this winter compared to last winter?
So this has been a pretty mild winter. As most people know, we had a whole heck of a lot of storm damage last winter. It wasn't so much that we had heavy snow, but we had a lot of heavy rains. It swelled up the rivers. And on top of that, we went several years without drought conditions and less than normal rainfall in the winter. So we had a lot of fires, a lot of areas where the vegetation wasn't as strong as it could be, and we ended up with a lot of slides out there that closed roads, and then the rivers came up and they washed out roads. And we had several times last winter where we had 5 or 6 of our routes closed in one time, and some of our communities were even landlocked or waterlocked, however you want to say it, but they were the highways in and out of that area were closed, and people couldn't get in and out for a day or two.
Amazing. That always makes it difficult. So you do a lot of snow removal and remediation. Got a bunch of trucks going all the time.
Correct. Yeah, we are pretty much a snow district. If you look at our district, it's a pretty big geographic district there. A lot of the district is over 3,000 foot in elevation, and even though we're not as glorious and as high as the Sierra Nevadas out there, we have more mountain passes than any other district in the state. So, snow's our busy season.
Yeah,
winter's our busy season.
Well, fantastic. And transportation really moves the economy, so it's so important to keep those roads open, and it also binds communities together. So thanks for all the great work you guys are doing. Can I put you to work a little more here?
I suppose so.
We got a shovel in it? No, we don't. But we do have a quiz. You know, we normally do a little quiz. So
Okay.
we want to quiz you on Shasta versus Shasta, and I want to bring up a competitor for you.
Okay.
All right, Latha, can you come up?
Absolutely.
Hi, Latha. Latha's our interim division chief for project and business management, and you know, anybody who comes up new always gets to do the fun stuff, so you get to compete in a quiz.
Okay, sounds great.
Martha,
I do.
nice to meet you.
All right, so it's either Mount Shasta or Shasta Cola. Are you ready, Shasta?
Okay.
They're so similar, I think it'll be a tough quiz. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, Dave, you ready?
I
Here we
think
go.
so.
All right, no pressure on either of you. Latha, you are interim, but no pressure. Anyway. It's 129 years old, and the answer is in me. So it's either Shasta Cola or Shasta Mountain.
Could it be? I think it's Shasta Cola.
Oh, I think Dave just beat you out there.
You're too
Nice.
fast
no
for me
way.
to. Can you slow it down a little?
I-
I'm interim here. You need to slow it down.
That's right.
Okay.
It is, Shasta began as Shasta Mineral Springs Company at the base of Mount Shasta in 1889. In 1928, the name was changed to the Shasta Water Company. It bottled mineral springs from Shasta Springs. Conversely, Mount Shasta, as you might imagine, is a little older than 129 years old. Mount Shasta is about 593,000 years old. Its peak towers over the landscapes to nearly 10,000 feet above its surroundings. So certainly quite a massive mountain. Okay, I think we're ready for the next question. Pops its top every 600 years.
Oh, could it be this?
Oh,
yes.
nice try, Latha. I appreciate that.
I
Wow.
got it right finally.
Yeah, you did. You're right. So you get points for that. And
Thank
you know,
you.
there probably is some Shasta Cola that tastes like it's 600 years old. But anyway, Dave got it.
It's a great drink.
It's a great drink. Do you drink it like every day?
Well, not every day, but every now and then.
Every now and then? All right. You're right, Dave. Mount Shasta is an active volcano. The last time it erupted was 1786. The U.S. Geological Survey rates Mount Shasta a very high threat volcano. So I'm looking at the folks in the audience. Did you guys know you live next to a very high threat volcano? No? Are you guys? Oh, awesome. I see thumbs up. Fantastic. Well, you're a risk taker. You guys up in Shasta and Redding, you guys go for it. All right. Very good. Oh, this is one I always have a hard time with. Are you ready? Inside, you will find I need some help. Asulfate. All right, thank you. You know, I think the camera guys always throw the tough stuff at me. Asulfate and potassium. Wow, you jumped on that one, Latha.
It has to
There's
be
got to
this.
be, everything else is in the mountain.
It sounds like something
It
that I
sounds like
find in the
mountains.
mountain.
You know, it may be, we haven't discovered it yet,
Oh.
but Dave Moore, he's a district director. You know he's smart. He's got to be a smart guy.
I should have this right.
Could be in this mountain. I don't know.
Who knows? I hear there's other stuff in the mountain we're going to get to a little
Okay.
later.
Oh, am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've never said you're wrong, Latha. I would say you're not right.
I'm not
but,
right.
But I probably wouldn't say that you're wrong.
Okay. Can I
know-
change my answer now?
You know, woman's
I can try.
prerogative. Anytime you want to change,
Thank you.
we're
I've
totally
changed my
open.
mind.
All right, you got it right.
Thank you.
Shasta's diet flavors use sucrose and alsoflame, potassium as non-nutritive sweeteners. Non-nutritive sweeteners. Wow. I don't know how many other sweeteners there are. I guess there are some nutritive sweeteners.
Honey.
Honey.
Dates?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know if we were getting friendly. So, okay, dates and honey. All right. I guess you're right. Those are nutritive sweeteners. So, thank you very much. You know, and we did talk about what else could be in the mountain. Inside of Mount Shasta, there's a legend, and there's a legend that inside Mount Shasta lies a hidden city
Wow.
of advanced beings from the lost continent of Lemuria. So, again, for folks in the audience, who's heard of this? Wow, okay, all right, so
Wow,
half the
you've all
folks here
heard
have
of
heard
it.
about it. There's supposed to be some lost city here, and I think we're...
Are we making a field trip?
Field trip?
Yes.
Absolutely, Latha.
Sounds like it's
We
something
will do a
fabulous.
field trip. I
Thank
think
you.
that's fantastic.
I think it'd be fun.
So-
Let's go see what there is in there.
Right after the show, you know, and again, in IT,
Might be
we
a little
love
snowy.
a little, so bring a coat,
Chains.
chains,
Yeah, and
you
we
know,
should- we
bring
should
your
be good.
snowshoes.
Okay.
And in IT, we like to do the proof of concepts. So we'll send Latha down, and while all of us have pizza or something, and you can come back and report on.
I'll have someone come with me.
You have some, okay,
Yeah.
so
'Cause we
which,
shouldn't go one-on-one. We should.
you're
we
right,
should go with-
safety is
Yes, safety
one of our number one
numbers.
concerns. Which one of the division chiefs would you take with you?
I'll take Paul.
You take Paul?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Thank you. That leaves us more room in the van on the way home. So I'm very happy with that. All
I
right.
thought you were waiting.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, we're waiting. So just wait for us at the top.
It's
When you
okay.
when you climb out,
No,
we'll be
we'll,
right there.
we'll get there and we'll come back. So just wait. You can watch the snow because it's
Oh,
going to
I
snow
like how you
tomorrow.
turn that around on me. That's fantastic. All right. So we'll wait for you.
Thank you.
We'll-
And Paul.
And Paul. All right, all right. Well, you guys go to Mount Shasta and
We'll
check out
go
the
in and see the
Lumerians.
city and we'll be back.
Wow, that's a great turnaround. You're sharp. I like that. All right. Mountain Rush. Mountain Rush.
That
All
sounds.
right. That
That's a-
sounds like. I'm sorry, Dave beat you to the punch. Mountain Rush is Shasta's own version of Mountain Dew, of course. One 12-ounce can of Mountain Rush has 45 grams of sugar, more sugar than 2 Snickers bars. So, you know, for the IT staff who kind of start the day on Mountain Dew and Cheetos, that ends up being a lot of sugar. And that's equivalent to basically what Mike has in one of his iced coffees every morning.
Sounds delicious.
It
You know, we
is.
did add health to our safety goal.
Oh, did you really have?
The strategic management plan, just saying.
All right, fantastic. There you go. And Snickers has got peanuts and protein in it, right? So that's all good stuff. All right, next question. Avalanche Gulch. Well, you were fast, Latha. I'm giving you good points for fast. You're extremely fast.
That sounds like a drink.
It does sound, you know,
I'm right.
Rush,
I must be right.
Maybe
you know,
I'll
I've
make
learned
this
this a long time
suggestion.
ago. Yes, Latha, you are right. But I think Dave is a little righter in this case.
Okay. Congratulations.
Avalanche
Dave.
Gulch is the easiest and most popular route to climb Mount Shasta. It begins at Bunny Flat, well, that sounds pretty good, trailhead, and gains about 7,300 feet of elevation and about 11.5 miles per round trip. So the easiest hike up Mount Shasta is 11.5 miles, which is roughly equivalent to how many miles I walk to meetings every day. All right. Home to Crystal Geyser.
I know I got that.
You know you got that one? Oh, wow. Very good. You're very fast on the draw. But I think Dave raised this more eloquently. So I think
Dave, you're too quick.
Dave gets the points. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water is the only major U.S. bottled water that's captured directly at authentic natural springs, including one from Mount Shasta. So fascinating. And there it is. It's about, the bottle is about that size too, just so you know. You can
It's
get
bigger
a-
than the mountain.
It's bigger than the mountain. All right. Ranks 11th most prominent peak. Oh, I'm going to call that a tie. All right. At an elevation of over 14,000 feet, Mount Shasta is the second highest peak in the Cascade Range and the 5th highest peak in California. The highest peak, Mount Whitney, is only 326 feet higher. 326 feet. I got to tell you, if I was Mount Shasta, I'd be stacking rocks. I'd be doing something so I can.
So you can
Be number one.
beat, yeah.
That's right, because that's the only thing. No, that's not the only thing that's important. All right, next question. Wow.
I saw the
No, I'm
question.
sorry.
I saw
I'm
the question.
sorry. You can't. You,
I have to
you know,
wait for
so
the
if
question.
you
I have to wait for
buzz
the
in
question.
before, you know that, then you lose some points. All right. Elvis, love Mount. Oh, I'm sorry. Elvis was a fan. So which one is it?
He has to be a fan of the
It's
mountain.
such a beautiful mountain.
It is.
I'm sure it
I'm a
was.
fan.
You're a fan.
Why wouldn't Elvis
Well,
be a fan?
because you're going to go spelunking later too, right?
I don't know about that.
All right. You know,
That
and
might
here's
be a
one of the
little.
things.
That might be a little difficult.
You could be correct. I don't know if you're correct, but I do know that Elvis loves Shasta Black Cherry,
And Lemurians.
and the Lemurians. So he loves both. In fact, they often go together. When dieting, his cook would create dyed black cherry jello. It was cut into cubes and formed into a pyramid for Elvis to devour. So, quick quiz. Are you ready for audience participation? How many calories do you think Elvis ate at the peak? A day? How much a day do you think he ate? Any guesses? 2,000 calories more? What do you guys think? 5,000? Higher? 10? Higher? There you go, 15,000. 15,000 calories Elvis consumed when he was dieting towards the end of his career. All right? Here we go. Last question.
The pressure's on.
This is for all the marbles, right? Every other question was worth 1 point. This is worth 1,000 points, and the points don't matter. But anyway, here we go with the last question. 7 glaciers. Boom. Wow.
That's a
You are
drink.
consistent. You
That's
are
a
very
drink.
consistent,
That's a
Latha.
drink.
I love that. Is it a drink here or is it,
It sounds
is
like
it a
a-
Shasta thing?
We don't have glaciers in California, do
Why?
we?
Mount Shasta has got glaciers.
Really?
It's amazing. So you would think Mount Shasta would be Shasta Cola, right?
And I went all the way to Alaska to see glaciers.
Did you? You could have just came
I
up
could have
here.
just come here.
Dave's right again, obviously. So Dave, you're the big winner. There are 7 named glaciers on Mount Shasta: Whitney, Bolam, Hotlam, Wintom, Watkins, Conwatakin. I know I butchered that one. And Mud Creek. Hotlam is the most voluminous glacier, and there we are, glaciers again,
Wow.
in California.
Another field trip.
Another field trip.
Yeah.
You're all about the field trips.
I'll
Have you
do-
thought
I'll do
about
that
being
on
a
my
school
own.
teacher?
I was a school teacher a long time
Were
ago.
you really?
Yeah.
There's the field trip thing.
That's-
Now it
that
all makes
must
sense.
be why. You
All
know,
right.
Memories of long ago.
Well, Dave won. I'm sorry to say, Latha.
Congratulations, Dave.
Congratulations, Dave. Fantastic job. You really know your geography and your soda pops. So we got you a
Don't tell
great
anybody.
T-shirt. We got your T-shirt. It says Shasta. It has to be Shasta. So thank you very much. Do
Okay.
you think you could wear
Thank
this
you.
at the next executive board or maybe the next CTC meeting?
Hey, if I could dress down for an
would?
executive board meeting, I'm all for that.
All right, there's a dare. I'm telling you, there's a dare. And Latha, we don't want you to
great.
go away empty-handed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, hold on, I got to do the right way. So we got the label. You know, it's like the,
Oh, that
the
looks
commercial street.
delicious.
Does it? It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Green. I love it.
It is green.
I
Is
love
that the-
green.
Is that one of your favorite colors?
I love green. It's
You
one of
know-
my favorite colors, and I love green juice.
Wow,
Thank
and
you.
you're a vegetarian or vegan?
I am a vegetarian.
Well,
I love spinach and kale and all the good stuff
I
that
hear
goes
that
into
only
green
has
juice.
good stuff in it.
Yes.
You know, so I think
I
you should
bet
try
it
it.
does.
45
Thank
grams.
you. I
45,
appreciate it.
just 45
40
grams for 12 ounce, I think. So this thing,
This one is, how many, is it a gallon?
wow.
It's a lot. 2.5 liters.
2.5 liters.
Yeah.
All
It's
right,
gonna
that'll
have
get you
plenty.
energy.
Yes,
You know,
thank
you'll
you,
need that
Nina.
for the hike when you're looking for luminaries.
I don't know if I can carry it. It's pretty heavy.
Well, that's why you got Paul.
Good deal. Thank you, Paul.
All right, thank you so much, Latha. We'll see you later in the
Thank
show.
you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Great
Thank
job.
you, Dave. Would you like me to take that?
All right. You know, we saw Dave Moore, and now we get the opportunity to talk a little bit with Stephen Oliver. Steve, come on up. Seems the local IT director. How you doing today, Steve?
Good, George. Welcome to Reading.
Oh, thank you. So good to be here. I think I've been here. Has it been twice before? I can't remember.
At least once. that
At
I
least
recall.
once?
Yes.
All right. See, as a politician, I get out my numbers every time, so I doubled to 2. So, you know, we learned a little bit about kind of Dave and, you know, what's happening in Reading. What's happening in IT in Reading?
Well, right now, we're really focused on trying to complete our installation of the hardware we received for the BCP refresh stuff. So, and as Dave mentioned, it's a large geographic district with a lot of weather and snow. So that presents a challenge for us getting out there and getting that done. But we have gotten all our remote sites complete,
Oh, fantastic.
and we're left with our 2 main buildings here in the city, so.
All right, so that'll go, you think, pretty quick? You know, there's a June deadline on all of
There
that.
is a June deadline on that.
All right.
Yep. So, yeah, I think we're going to get it done real soon.
All right, fantastic. Glad to hear it. And is it mostly the network stuff that you're replacing, or is it servers and storage as well?
Just the network stuff for us. We had
Okay.
replaced the server storage side a couple years prior, so.
Oh, fantastic.
We're good on that for several more years, so.
All right, all right. Don't tell Mike that, because then you won't get new stuff. So,
Yeah.
so we'll keep that between us.
Lots
you
of
still
network
need new
hardware,
stuff.
though.
Yeah. All right.
Lots of
Fantastic.
network hardware.
And we could be doing that again next year. We've got another BCP going, so we can do some more refresh.
I hope not.
You know, there's a little bit of everybody that thinks that too. It's like, oh, should we take a break? And it's not only kind of the refresh, to be honest with you, but we're also building out the security program. And Carl's got a big BCP in for that, and that's about $10 million. And I think he feels the same. It's, you know, how much can you do, right, with the folks that you have?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we probably replaced every switch we had.
All right,
We
fantastic.
should be good.
Makes a much more stable compute environment, so
Yes,
thank
it
you
does.
for that.
Yes, it does.
All right, so in addition to that, you know, hobbies, is there anything that you enjoy doing?
Well, I started getting kind of back into music a few years ago. I took a course at the Berklee College of Music out of Boston and started doing some audio engineering and mixing stuff. So I've been doing a lot of that lately in my spare time. But
All right, fantastic. You know, maybe we can get the Caltrans IT band going, because I think Joe Jimenez does some music among others. So can we look for you guys to get a gig together or put an album together? Album, that's so old-fashioned, I guess.
Yeah, now it's all on hard drives. And what I've been doing, I got caught up in the technology, and it was just a perfect blend for me with the music and the tech stuff. And right now I got to get the technology out of the box and
All
onto
right.
that album. So
All right,
Yeah.
so in future, we'll look for that.
you got it.
All right, we'll announce it here. We'll sell it on iTunes, maybe in the Caltrans App Store.
There you go.
You know, I understand where Ed and those guys who do a great job producing this every time was able to come up a couple days early and shoot some video of your folks.
They did. They put together a fantastic little video clip. Would you like to see it now?
We'd love to. Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Currently, I am a systems administrator in our ZCM environment. You may or may not be aware that ZCM is on its way out. ZCM is our desktop management solution for the enterprise. A lot of additional work right now because I'm still trying to juggle my responsibilities with ZCM and learning SCCM. So, but it's a lot of fun.
The LAN, the WAN, networking, switches, and whatever else. Usually getting a call telling me the network's slow. It's always the network, so I've been told. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy working on the switches and helping people.
Pretty much any problem that a person has trying to get in or use our information technologies, I'm assigned to handle and diagnose. I started out as a student assistant. Oh, these are great people. Very knowledgeable, very professional, easy to get along with. I enjoy working with every one of them.
I do desktop support. I do Active Directory administration, print server administration as well. Jack of all trades, master of none. The satisfaction at the end of completing a job for a customer, they feel satisfied, so I feel rewarded from that.
Usually I get up early in the morning, I have my coffee and plan my day out. And as soon as I walk in the door, that plan's out the window. I think I've pretty much hired all the staff that's here. Being here so long, the abnormal becomes routine.
Sharing with that video with us, and I got to, I love that kind of that closing phrase you said. You know, things change all the time, right? And with that, the abnormal becomes routine. So I'm glad you and your folks have gotten used to that kind of change.
Yep. We expect the stuff to happen, and we're ready for it. So.
All right, you know, we brought the van down. We've got a whole bunch of other network gear. No. Well, thanks, Steve. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
George.
you sharing that with us. Take care. All right, so now we're to part of the segment where we provide updates, and I want to lead off with a kind of a real quick update. And I want to talk about change. You know, so I think appropriate in the video you folks talked about having a plan, but things change all the time. And we've seen a lot of change lately. You know, especially if you look at some of the executives at agency level. You know, you may recall Brian Kelly was here at our last quarterly all staff. We've seen a lot of changes certainly at the department level. You know, with Malcolm's leaving and Lori and Ryan coming in. We see a lot of change in IT, you know, as we talk about refresh. You're going to hear later about things like bimodal, you know, BI, business intelligence. There's a lot of change happening here at Caltrans. As I look at industry also, I recently got back from a Gartner conference and the discussion was all about change there. You've no doubt heard terms like disruptive technologies, right? You've heard terms like digitization. But the push there was not only bringing an awareness about some of this change, but really kind of driving us to deal with that change. You know, how are you going to react to that change? Or even better, right, how do you get in front of that change? I think Peter Drucker talked about change, right, and some of the difficulties with change. You know, he said, you know, it's not the turbulence that's the hard part with change. It's really what processes, you know, you use to deal with that turbulence. You know, if you're doing the same stuff, even though the environment's changing, that may not always be a recipe for success. So for us, regardless of what it is, changes in our most senior level executive leaders, right? Certainly a bunch of changes that we're driving in IT. We are IT, and we should be good, just like we are here in District 2, with dealing with those changes. So I'm sure as an organization, as a team, right, as a One IT, we'll continue doing that through all the changes that you're going to hear throughout the day, especially, as a lot of the talks, again, on IT class consolidation, a topic we've had very often lately. But I want to introduce Mike Wynn. I think you're first out of the gate. Mike, how you doing? I'm sorry about that slow driver thing, man.
Hey, I might be slow, but we get there safely.
Yeah, that's what all the slow guys say, Mike. But I really appreciate that. Fast and safe. That's what there's speed. But it's appropriate, right? Certainly in the kind of weather environment that we're having to drive safe and sane. But I know your organization is not moving slow. What are some of the things that are happening in IMD?
All right. Well, thanks for the opportunity to update everyone on these things, George. Carl, I was really hoping that you would take the title away from me, but you did such a great job. I still have the trophy for being the slowest driver amongst ourselves. So today, I'd like to talk about 4 very exciting things that our IT staff in IMD, the men and the women, have been working so hard, to really advance the IT and the business programs. One of which is the network upgrade. Stephen Oliver talked earlier about the hardware refresh that we're doing to make sure that the equipment is up to par, is modernized, is standardized, and is simplified, right? But coupled with that, we are working diligently to upgrade the network circuits, right? You may know that the district offices connecting to the hub sites right now, those things right now are connecting at 100 megabits per second. We're working to basically upgrade all of those to 1 gigabit per second. It's going to be a tenfold upgrade, right, by 10. With some overhead, maybe 80%, right, 800% in terms of performance that we're hoping to gain out of that. But that's not where we're stopping. In addition to upgrading all of these network circuits from 100 to 1 gig, we're also upgrading the backbone circuits from 1 gig to 10 gigs, right? So we're modernizing, working with Paul, modernizing and security in terms of robust applications. They're going to need the bandwidth. We have bandwidth that's going to get used up, right? So not only that, we're preparing these things to be upgraded to meet today's business demands, but also prepare us for the future. Okay? So when can we expect these? I'm very pleased to inform you that Form 20s have been submitted, and the standard telcos companies' responses is going to be 90 to 120 days for us to have those things in place. So I look forward to the summer to have these circuits upgraded and in place so that we can better support the department's demands. Second, I'd like to talk about the PC hardware refresh that we're doing for our IT staff. As you know, we have close to 600 employees throughout the state, in the districts and headquarters, SAC Metro, and so on. PCs get old, and they basically have a lifespan as well, just like the back-end hardware infrastructure. So this year, I want to thank George for your support, your ongoing support, to earmark $300,000 so that we can invest and refresh the PCs and the laptops and the iPads and so on for our employees that are out there working very, very hard to support our business programs. The status where that is today is that the PO has been, the purchase requisition has been prepared and sent down to DPAC for processing. So we hope to get the hardware in and deliver within the next couple of months. You may ask, who are getting these PCs? Well, we're basically replacing the equipment by age. The oldest equipment have been identified, and those will be replaced throughout the districts as well as at headquarters. Okay. Next, I'd like to give you a quick update on our budget change proposal. As we are busy this year rolling out new hardware to refresh our old and aging equipment, we also have been working diligently to prepare the next BCP for fiscal year 18-19. We have accomplished a lot. We have achieved support from various organizations to date. We got support from the California Department of Technology. They're on board and supporting us in moving forward in replacing the next batch of old, aging critical equipment that we must replace. Second, we also have been working with the Department of Finance, and they are also on board and supporting us in moving forward. We have had dialogue with the LAO's office, and we just recently have been able to respond to questions from the legislative staff about our BCP for 1819. So we're moving forward. I think we are in a better position this year as compared to last year. But there's one thing that I want everyone to be aware of. We're working with Paul and his division to put together a statement of work to ensure that we have what is called the IT roadmap, very focused on the application in terms of how these new applications will be hosted in the future, so that we can align our infrastructure roadmap with the application architecture roadmap that they're putting together. Last but not least, I want to talk about the mobile device management solution that we've been working, piloting, building, testing, our very own, for Caltrans. We started this journey a year ago to equip our mobile workforce with the tools that they need to do their job out in the field more efficiently. As of earlier this week, Russ Watts and his team and John Kaptiyama reported to me that we're open for business. So as of this week, we are open to enroll new devices onto this new AirWatch, VMware AirWatch solution. And we are making plans to migrate all the existing devices from Afaria to this new solution within the next several months. So basically, that's where we are at this time. And I want to thank all the staff in IMD for their hard work and dedication to make all of these progresses.
Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate that
All right.
update.
Thanks, George.
You bet. Carl Copper, come on down. Man, you had a shot at the title, but Mike kept it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I got to say thanks to you, too, for
No pressure.
driving up in a driving rainstorm in the dark at night with a crosswind. Kept things exciting, because every time I tried to check the right mirror, I got to see a PowerPoint presentation.
It's called work anywhere. and certainly, with all the schedules we have, right, we got to try to make the most of our time. And I appreciate your tolerance to that. I hope it wasn't too distracting.
It was fun.
I also want to take a little commercial break here to remind folks, we've got the Ask George email line up, so certainly send in those questions that you have. We are taking them live. We do want that engagement. Ron Clemens is here kind of helping us filter. We may not get to all the questions, certainly, but we're going to try to filter out and grab the questions with the broadest impact. But everybody who sends a question will get some kind of response from one of our division chiefs. All right. But speaking of responses, your team's also been very responsive with lots going on. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Be happy to do that. So I'm going to talk about these 5 things very quickly here. First off, our BCP update, as you heard Mike mention, we are in the chute this year for both BCPs for infrastructure refresh and for security. We got $4 million in 6 positions. Last time around, we went back for $10 million and 4 additional positions. And we're in the governor's proposed budget, and we have support from LAO and Department of Finance. Things are looking really good for the security BCP. The Palo Alto Networks update, that's the replacement for our Edge security equipment. It's a consolidated next generation tool that lets us replace IDS, IPS, and web filtering with a single solution. Very cost effective and very new cutting edge technology. We'll be rolling out the PAN update for IDS, IPS tonight for Rancho Cordova for Gold Camp. Then mid-month it'll be in Oakland, and by the 22nd we'll be doing Los Angeles, and then April 1st we'll go live with the web filtering and we'll end WebSense as a tool here. McAfee Upgrade. McAfee Upgrade is part of a broader effort refreshing the desktops. So IMD has done an outstanding job of bringing us along the Windows 10 road. I think we have 4,000 machines, 5. We have more than 4,000, maybe 5,000 machines that are now on Windows 10. That's the good news, and you've pulled off the Novell client, which is fantastic, but we have to upgrade the version of McAfee to support the new version of Windows 10, which has to be upgraded by April 9th because it's going into support, the one that we're on, by Microsoft prior to. McAfee's on the critical path for that, so we're starting to roll out the NAG update, as I call it, today at headquarters and then across the enterprise. YubiKeys starting today. We are going to force all of IT. You should have your YubiKey by now. We're going to force you to go, if you come in through the VPN, through the multi-factor version of the VPN access and using your physical token as your second factor for authentication. And this is part of George's philosophy in IT that we drink our own champagne and we'll work out all the bugs and the kinks in the system, hopefully before we start to roll it out to the IT, or the user community. And finally, on side channel attacks, this is one of the biggest issues in security that I've seen in the history of cybersecurity. Basically, it's down to the chip level. The operating system also requires a patch. They're out from Microsoft and Linux, and Oracle says they've released it for some of their products. So that has to be done. We can monitor it from the security side and help produce reports and our status on that. However, Intel has produced a microcode patch that has to be incorporated by the OEM hardware manufacturers into the firmware, and that has to be rolled out to every physical device. And unfortunately, there's no way for us to detect with monitoring tools our status on that, so we have to do it manually, and we'll have to be working together to track that activity. And it applies to all systems since 1995, including ARM processors that are in your mobile devices and AMD chipsets, not just Intel. So on that note, that's what I got for you.
Thanks, Carl. Before you go, I forgot to mention, you're such a gifted presenter and speaker. I understand you recently had a speaking opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So in Sacramento, the IT Leadership Academy hosts the CIO Academy once a year, and at the CIO Academy there are breakout sessions, and one of them was around blockchain, and I, at George's request, was the voice of dissent on blockchain, talking about the cybersecurity issues as it relates to the rollout of the blockchain, especially public blockchains.
All right, so it was you and a couple of industry experts in that session.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I think the room was full. I got to tell you, it was a great, very informative. We actually did some interesting things with some polling too, and I think the audience came away much better informed than when they started.
It's a very, very interesting area. A lot's going on there, and it's very well known right now because of unfortunate criminal activity as it relates to ransomware. But we're, as an industry, everybody in IT, we're looking at what is its applicability towards IT and towards the broader business community.
Well, thank you for just having an interest in these technology trends and staying ahead of the curve. I think. Especially in your role as CISO, right? You've got to be aware of what's coming down the path. So thank you for your time with that.
Certainly.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right. Come on up, Paul. How are you doing, Paul?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Now, you beat us all up here, I think, on the way up to Shasta. That's fantastic.
Yes. I have to be careful, though. My 16-year-old's driving now, and we told her no tickets. And
all right, so you can't bring one home.
Can't bring one home, but
all right.
so I'm going to putter going home tonight.
All right, very good, very good. So I think you and Mike then maybe can race for the slowest now.
Well,
on the way back. Well, very good. So I know in AppDev, I mentioned a little bit about bimodal and so forth, but you guys have a lot of keen projects going on at AppDev as well. Can you share that information?
We do. Yeah, I just want to start off with thanking the team there, because without them, none of this would be possible. So go ADSD. Anyway, whoops. 4 things I wanted to talk about. Start off with is the BI Roadmap project. So some of you may be aware we started this project in the summer of 2017. And what we did is we brought in a consultant to help us develop an enterprise BI roadmap. George was a key sponsor along with Steve Takagawa. We focused on Steve Takagawa's maintenance and operations program area, headquarters project management, and the Division of Research, Innovation, and System Integration. Wasn't sure I could pull that off.
Nicely done.
Their HPMS system. So where we're at today is we're basically done with the project with the exception of one outstanding presentation we want to do to the IT exec board. We were hoping to get that in March, but they're in San Diego. Now we're trying to queue up for April. So what I encourage you all to do if you're interested is go to the IT website, go out to, we have a BI roadmap link. All our deliverables are there from the education sessions, the as-is assessment, readiness assessment, the future state assessment, the data governance piece. There's a ton of really good information there. We will be getting the BI roadmap deliverable out there ASAP. I looked yesterday, it wasn't out there. So with that one exception. So please do. So what did we find looking at those two key areas, which I've been in Caltrans a long time, but across those subject areas, data quality, lack of data governance, key, huge issue. A lot of resources spent fixing data, manually fixing data. Secondly, we have a lot of integration needs. We have a ton of data. It's all siloed. Very difficult to pull data, very difficult to know where the data set is you should be pulling, et cetera. So that's two key issues that the study identified throughout those program areas. I'm happy to say there's progress being made. We have a chief data officer now. He is very familiar with our deliverables. He's reviewed them. We presented them to him. That's going to be key for the data governance, data quality issue, policy issue. And we also are starting work on a business intelligence competency center. So we're working with the program areas to staff that up and to get that going. So there's some good traction in moving the effort forward. Next, I want to speak to you about bimodal. This to me is really exciting to me, and I appreciate the opportunity for ADSD to do this work. So we have a team, we have 4 vacancies we're going to be filling, so start watching for those. But let me back up. What is bimodal? Bimodal is a Gartner concept that basically says all modern development shops have 2 modes of development. The first is the one we're probably the most familiar with. And I'll be talking about Staff Central, that's our prime candidate, but what are those characteristics of Mode 1? Reliability, legacy system modernization, hardware modernization, et cetera. Focus on cost efficiency, running the software, maintaining the software. And again, Staff Central is a key candidate for that. So what is Mode 2? Mode 2 is agile technology development. It's minimum viable product. It's exploratory. It's iterations. It's quick delivery. So that is what we're going to be looking at developing in ADSD, that capability for the department. And that I think can be key in actually delivering a lot more business value quicker to our business program areas. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the IT website redesign. So we have a proof of concept we're developing. Our goal here is to increase the usability of the website, both for our program areas and for our internal IT staff. We want a better user experience. It's dated. We've taken a shot at a POC. We're continually refining that with the exec team and with our IT functional experts. So I think in the next month or 2, I hope that you guys will be able to go out and take a look at the new website. And lastly, but certainly not least, is we are going to pursue upgrading Staff Central. Our last upgrade was completed in 2014, and so what we're basically going to be doing is upgrading PeopleSoft from 9.1 to 9.2, the database, the operating systems, the people tools, and third-party tools. Right now we're running Crystal Reports. We're going to be moving that to another reporting tool. What are our goals here? I didn't realize starting off just how heavily customized Staff Central was. I was joking with the packaged products team, and I said to them, my God, is there even PeopleSoft code running here? Everything is customized. So we're hoping that this new upgrade, we can use some functions so we can shut off and deprecate some of that custom code that we have. Secondly, we want to get to a supported version of the software. The current version, we ran out of support in January of this year. So 9.2 gets us support. And lastly, there's new features that we're really excited about. Mike talked about his mobile device management. These new screens in PeopleSoft are going to be mobile device aware. So you'll be able to use your tablet or your cell phone, go in, do your time, and have a lot better user experience. And lastly, I think that the whole user interface is going to be upgraded a little bit, and I'm excited about that being on the app side. So and the team is excited as well. So I want to thank George again for helping fund this, along with our admin partners. So that's it for ADSD.
Thanks, Paul. I got to tell you, I'm really excited about that bimodal stuff. I think it really opens the door for us to deliver more value to our program areas in a very short amount of time. So, and you're so enthusiastic about it is what I really love.
Well, I think it's the future. It's the future of app development. It's the future of what we need to, where we need to go. So I'm all about trying to move the ball.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Anytime. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thank you.
All right. All right. And last but not least, you saw her before on the quiz, Shasta, and you did so well, Arthur. I appreciate that.
Great job, and I won the best prize.
Yeah, you did. You're right. That T-shirt, you can't drink or eat that. That'd be really hard.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
This is something I can enjoy and I can share.
You're gonna. Oh, wonderful!
I
can't wait to share it.
team.
Fantastic. You're so generous, Latha. You know, and aside,
I aim to please.
you aim to please. Yeah. Wow, you're saying all the right things
all the right
here.
things. All the right things, especially when I'm interim, right?
Oh, there you go. There you go. So, you know, is there anything else besides that mountain rush that you want to share with us? You know, about yourself or, you know, some hobbies?
I love working with our team, and I love doing a great job in IT.
Oh, you're certainly doing both of those things. And your enthusiasm is infectious at times. You're also you're a vegetarian or vegan?
I'm a vegetarian.
Vegetarian. Mm-hmm. All right. How long have you been a vegetarian?
Lifetime.
Wow, fantastic.
And basically that means I love green juices.
Oh, there you go. That mountain rush, it hits you every time. So the Cheetos, was that dairy? So that wouldn't work?
I love dairy too.
Okay,
so
all right.
I don't have
So
a
we
problem
can
with
work the
that.
Cheetos into that?
Yeah, Cheetos. I like Cheetos every now and then.
All right, very good. And you also have both a private and public sector background.
I do. So, as I said, a long time ago, I used to teach elementary school, but in the last 20 years or so, I've been in IT, and I've been in the private sector, I've been in the in consulting, and then I've been at a control agency.
So
I did oversight at CDT for 5 years. So it gave me a great opportunity to learn about what goes wrong in projects, what goes right, the kind of things that the legislature is interested in, the kind of questions the LAO asks. So I worked very closely with the Department of Finance on projects and on BCPs.
Yeah, certainly that's
so
great
good experience to bring here into our area.
Yeah, oftentimes that can be some of the hardest parts is getting that external approval, you know, for either projects or funding or so forth. So very applicable experience.
Very true, because I did all the external approvals then.
Oh, you did?
No.
How were you to Caltrans when you were doing it?
I never had Caltrans.
Okay, all right.
That was a lucky break.
I'm just checking.
That was a lucky break.
Yeah.
But from our perspective, now I know what they're looking for, right?
Okay, so you can help make sure we submit what we need to
that we
get
give them what
approval.
they need.
Fantastic. So can you tell us, you know, kind of some of the stuff that your division is doing now to give the organization what we need?
Absolutely. So the Project and Business Management Division is doing a lot of great stuff. And I want to share some of it with you. From the business management perspective, the big thing is the IT class consolidation effort. That's something which impacts each and every one of us here in IT. And Dana Williams and our team are doing, in my opinion, a great job on that. So you're all probably getting your emails regularly. If not, you need to find out why you're not on the right distribution list. But we're sending out weekly updates to our staff and our managers, talking about what's happening with the IT class consolidation, talking about what you can expect from us and what we need from you periodically. We have a website set up, and you are likely seen it. If you've not, please check it out. We put all the information we have as, you know, the most updated information, put it out there on our website. We also have an email box, and I know you know about that because believe it or not, we've got hundreds of emails coming into us. Now, we take the time to respond to each of those emails. You'll know that if you send us a message. What you may not know is that we take those common questions and put them on our FAQ, on our website under FAQs on an almost daily basis, so that your commonly asked questions, we have responses out there on our website. So hopefully you've been checking it out. If not, please do so. Now, the other thing you might know is last week we reached out and let our teams know that your new classifications are now posted both on our org charts on OnRamp as well as in Staff Central. So take a look. If you think something's not looking right, reach out to our IT classification, reclassification email box. Some of the things, now I wanted to take the opportunity to tell you a little bit about what else is impacting IT class consolidation. One of that is overtime. Now we have a lot of our staff who are in the staff classifications. Now they've all moved into the IT Specialist 1 classification. And with the IT Specialist classifications, overtime is no longer available. So that is a reality. One of the other things with that is that when you're in an IT Specialist classification, you submit your calendar 8-hour chunks. What does that mean if you have a doctor's appointment, you need to leave a little early, you have a child's soccer game, you want to leave a little early, come in a little late? How does that impact you? So basically what that means, it doesn't mean that you can't do any of that. It just means that you work with your manager and you get it okay to make those meetings so that you still go to your doctor's appointments, your dental appointments, your soccer games. You still need to live life. However, you don't mark that on your calendar. Instead, you work with your manager. The expectation is that we all do a 40-hour work week at least, so you make up that time at a time that's appropriate for your business needs. The other thing I wanted to talk about class consolidation is the alternate work schedule. We have several of our staff who were in staff classifications who used to have an alternate work schedule. That is, they had a 9-8-80 or a 4-10-40. Now, once again, with the IT Specialist classifications, alternate work schedules are not available. But you don't need to do anything at this point in time. So we will be sending out a formal 30-day notification to you. So until you get that notification and that 30 days apply, you can continue to follow your alternate work schedule and input your time into Staff Central. Last but not least, from the IT class consolidation, I wanted to talk about your alternate range criteria. So several of our staff, and we'd reached out to 142 of you, whom we had identified as potentially possible to move up in your range based on your education or your experience or a combination of both. And we found that 131 of you had responded to us. Thank you so much. So we've got the paperwork, and it's now with DHR to do the initial analysis. We'll have the initial analysis completed by the 16th of March, which means that in the week of the 19th, we'll let you know if you're moving up in range, or if not, we will reach out to you and we can have a discussion at that point in time. So that's as far as the IT class consolidation effort goes. Again, as I said, our team's doing a great job on that. If you have questions, talk to your manager, check out our FAQs on our website. If you still have questions that have not been answered, reach out to our IT Reclass email box and you'll get a response from us. Now, for all the great things that's happening on the business management side, our division also has a project management section, and that's headed up by Tom Dolce and our PMs and our business analysts, etc. And they're doing a lot of great work, a lot of projects that we're working on in different stages of the project life cycle. I wanted to talk about two different efforts today. One is the IMMS upgrade project. So the integrated maintenance management system is a critical application that maintenance uses. Now, this application runs on obsolete hardware and software, and it really is time that it gets upgraded. So that's where this project comes in. What this project does is upgrade it to more recent software and supportable hardware. Teresa Kim is the PM on that effort. We're currently in testing, and the expectation is that by late July, that project will be implemented. The last thing I wanted to talk about is a portfolio for maintenance and operations. So what is that? From the project management perspective, we manage projects. And working with the divisions of maintenance and operations, we've identified a lot of potential projects that would address things like their their encroachment permits, their outdoor advertising permits, their adopt a highway program, etc. And typically, we would assign a PM to each of those efforts, and each of those PMs would run those projects based on available resources. What we thought is, let's take a different holistic view of these projects. These projects are all supporting specific business needs for those programs. So why don't we treat this as a portfolio of projects? We will have one portfolio manager who oversees each of the independent projects so that they can work in alignment with each other and we more effectively meet business needs. So that's what we're doing. This is the first stab we're taking at that. Teresa Kim is going to be leading that as a portfolio manager, and we will have PMs assigned to each of the individual efforts. And we'll keep you posted on more updates as that moves along. That's all I have from the Project and Business Management Division.
Well, certainly there's plenty. Thanks so much, Latha. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you driving all of these efforts. You know, they're so meaningful and they add so much value to the organization.
Well, it's a lot of hard work done by our team that's getting it done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now we're at the Q&A portion of the session, so I'd like to invite Mike back up because I think we got some questions before the session, and we're actually able to catch one of the questions during the session. But don't be a stranger. Come on up, man.
All right.
All right. So what
Thanks
do
for
you?
another opportunity, George.
I'm happy to give you plenty of opportunities, Mike. You know this.
All right.
What do we got?
All right, so we got 4 questions that I'd like to address on your behalf. The first question, which is the easy one, it has to do with SCCM. So what is SCCM? System Center Configuration Management, right? It's a Microsoft product. It is intended to replace ZCM, right? What is it going to be used for? Software deployment, configuration of our desktops and server, configurations. So where we're at today is we have executed the purchase order. We own the license. We got the design for the system completed. Matter of fact, I was on the call with Steve and the team the other day to basically go over the final draft of that design. So it was a very well designed, put together. So thank you, Steve. So the question is, when is this thing going to be up and running? Well, we're putting the team together. We're also in the process of obtaining more expertise from Microsoft through a third-party vendor so that we can start building the new system, testing it, and so on. So we're looking to this summer to deploy that system somewhere in July, August timeframe. And we're going to basically do a dual standard. We're going to keep ZCM running in parallel with SCCM until SCCM reach a point that we can retire ZCM this summer. Okay? Second question that came in, which I'd like to address, is D2. What are we doing in terms of upgrading the network circuits for D2? The backhaul circuit and so on. Is it going to be upgraded to a 10 gig uplink? The short answer is yes. We are looking very closely in upgrading all district offices, including D2, from 100 meg to 1 gig to connect to our hub site. The question was, is it going to be a 10 gig? Well, we got to determine how feasible that is, but right now the short answer is going to be at the minimum 1 gigabit per second. Okay? 2 other questions I'd like to address. One has to do with SB1. People are basically raising their hands saying, hey, there's a lot of work coming our way. What is headquarters IT doing to help us out in terms of workload? Right? Are we getting new positions? Can we get some students, assistants to help us out with the workload? The short answer is I've asked your managers to be engaged. Be very engaged with the district director and their deputies to make sure that you know what's coming and when, right? And then you can inform me, and I'll work closely with the executive team and George to determine how we would go about in getting additional resources. But for temporary assistance, it's going to be a relief solution for us. We are going to be looking at student assistance, for each district to basically help you guys out with the workload. Okay? Don't know how many dollars we can basically earmark for this coming year, but you have my commitment to work with George and the executive team to make sure that we have that addressed. Last but not least, the PERP, Printer Efficiency Realization Project. there was a question related to PERP. Hey, you know, we're being asked to rationalize printers, and we're seeing programs keep on adding more printers. So what is this all about? Okay, I've been working very closely with Ron and all the district IT managers. The key thing here is we're in the process of engaging the district directors and their deputies to make sure that they understand what they have right now in terms of the footprint. How many printers do we have? Network versus personal. And the question, you know, we should be asking the program managers would be, what should we have in the future? I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but about a year ago, there was a statewide scan to determine how many printers exist in the state. And the director's office report, you know, the KPMG report stating that, hey, we got a printer for every 2 employees. And at that time, you know, the director's office basically saw an opportunity to help improve efficiency, operational efficiency in our department. And that's how the PERP project came along. So now what we are is engage, determine what we have and what we should have so that we can have a dialogue, you know, with those people and get them to buy in, right, in terms of what that 2B number should be for each district. So as new printers are being requested for purchase, you can have a conversation with the directorate level and say, hey, how does this fit into our 2B reference model so that we can help align, right, what it should be going forward. Okay, so I hope I answered that question.
Yep. Thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate
All right.
your time. You know, I think we've got
Thanks,
time
George.
for just a couple more questions. Latha, did you get some ahead of time and then?
Yeah, we did. We got a couple with the IT class consolidation.
Okay.
So the first one was about the IT Specialist 3 classification and whether we're going to fill that. So basically, the IT Specialist 3 is a brand new classification. CalHR did not recommend any existing classifications to move into that. So what we're doing is we're going to be looking at the expectations of the IT class Specialist 3 classification, and then we're going to look at our workload to see how many we need and where we need them. So that will all be part of our restructuring that is due by the end of July. The other question which came in was about the issue of compaction. And the example given was IT Manager 1 reporting to IT Manager 1. So what is compaction or salary compaction? With the class consolidation, there are many, many cases, especially at Caltrans, where we have a reporting relationship, either where where 2 classifications moved into a common one. Therefore, you have a manager and the person who's reporting to them both moved into the same classification. You also have cases where even though your manager and your staff moved into 2 different classifications, the range within the classifications are such that the manager is at a lower range than their staff. Therefore, the staff can no longer report to the manager. So what are we doing? This is something that every department is facing. And so what we're doing is the expectation is that by the end of July, we have a plan for that. And so IT exec management, we're working closely with THR. We will have a plan together within the expected time frame. If you have more questions about that, send us an email to the IT Reclass email box and we'll respond to you.
All right, thanks so much,
Oh,
Latha.
absolutely.
I appreciate it. That's all.
You're welcome.
You know, and we got one late question. Carl, are you ready to respond to that?
Take a shot.
All right, let's take a shot. I'm going to stand up here just in case I've got to censor you. No, go ahead.
So just reading it off my phone here, and it says, can you explain the future Cisco AnyConnect VPN access without the UB keys? And then does it mean without the UB keys you'll be limited to Caltrans system access? Please advise. So if I'm understanding the question correctly, hopefully I'm answering the question. Just to be clear, we will require second factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, meaning UB keys for all access over the VPN. So today, the rollout is for IT folks, but tomorrow, so to speak, it will be for all of Caltrans. So there are roughly around 5,000 people at Caltrans who regularly use the VPN. We will be going back in time through the logs, and if you haven't used VPN access in some defined period of time, to be determined, maybe 90 days, your account will not have any VPN access at all. You'll have to submit a ticket to gain access. But for those who are regular users, you will get a UB key and we will force you through the multi-factor authentication process.
Well, thank you, Carl. I appreciate you responding to that. And again, if that doesn't answer the question, then send it back in and we'll make sure Carl gets back to you. So
Absolutely.
thanks, Carl.
Yep.
Appreciate it. And that wraps up another quarterly IT All-Staff meeting. I hope you both were entertained and informed. Now we kind of talk about our next stop. Our drum roll, please. Next stop is District 4. So there we go, right? We're going to be in Oakland at the next stop. Samuel, no pressure, but you know I'm going to want to see your A game for that. Anyway, thank you all for attending, and for all of you in the room, if any of you are thirsty, I think we have a couple of things just to kind of end the show. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time from D4.